Hello, Rob Westall here, and welcome to tonight's Inspires session, Women at the Well, where we look at a fantastic project that's been going on in Cheltenham and Gloucester. And of course, it ticks the boxes for us because the aim of these online sessions that we've brought you throughout this festival is to inspire you to have a go. And we're going to talk to the project lead, Henrietta Cousins, and one of the project's participants, Anthea Searle. Hello, both. How are you doing? God bless you. Hi.
Hi.
Everyone. Henrietta, we've heard of the woman at the well, but can you tell us what it was all about?
Well, it was about women in Gloucestershire coming together to read scripture, to reflect on the topics, and then to do craft together. So it was that simple. But the topics were about women meeting with the Almighty, and we talked a lot about the power of physical water and spiritual water.
Right, well, it'd be good to hear more about those themes, but first tell us, Henrietta, who took part and who were these women, and did you meet at a well?
Well, we had a general advert put out in January, and 30 women signed up, which was pretty incredible.
Wow.
And we had quite a diverse age range from teenagers to retirees, so a 50-year age range. Not that I ever thought about that during the project. But we also had a variety of cultures and religions. And for me, that was the really exciting part. No, we didn't meet at a well, but we looked at passages to do with women meeting at wells. We met on Zoom, but I like to think that we were like those women of old, meeting around a central place and chatting together.
Absolutely wonderful. Anthea, you were one of the women who took part. Why did you take part? What drew your interest in the project?
It was been quite a tough year for me with COVID. It has for everyone, but we sadly lost my father-in-law. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer. We were told he had 6 weeks. Thankfully, we got 4, and as a family, we were able to spend those last 4 weeks with him, which was, such a blessing at that time. For me, though, with my creative side, I am a very creative person. That's something I do for a job, and it's just who I am. I just love creativity and producing things. But I saw the poster, and what really drew it to me as being wanting to be involved in the craft project was the fact that it wasn't just with Christian women, it was also of Muslim women. And when do you get a chance to go and have an open conversation with another woman of faith? And I just thought, gosh, this is a door being opened here. And so that really drew me into the craft. So I signed up, and I thought, right, let's do it. And I'd never done quilling. That was one thing that was a challenge almost for me as well. Being a crafter, being out of your comfort zone and being challenged by doing something new is always different. So yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when I opened the box and it was quilling.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I've never heard of quilling. I mean, I've seen the pictures, seen the videos that we're going to see later on, and it's absolutely fantastic. So for people like me, tell us more about the craft. Talk about quilling and what it is. Explain to us.
So quilling is rolling or squishing paper to make shapes. So you have very thin strips of paper, and then you can either use a curling tool or you can just use a pencil. So you can have basic material that's around your house. And we were very blessed to have amazingly talented people teaching us how to do this. And there's also links on YouTube that you can go and look at. And it's just so amazing. You think, oh, this is going to be really easy, but it does challenge you. And there were some times when I had to put it down because I thought this isn't working and I wanted to give up, but I didn't. I kept going, and that was great.
Well, well done for the perseverance. And did you find that it helped you? You obviously talked about the challenges you faced during the lockdown and the pandemic. Did you find a cathartic sort of side to the art as well?
It was because it was over a certain period of time, and because it was Zoom. You're bound by that time, as it were, to go to those sessions. It was actually very good discipline to say, no, this is my time. This is my time to stop, and just be with other women of faith and share that experience. So it was a good, almost like a pause button on a Tuesday evening, and it was actually really sad when it stopped, because it was like, oh, what do I do now? There was that moment of, do I do something else? And actually I did sign up to another project with another group, and it was on a Tuesday evening, and actually it kept me, keep going, and actually saying, no, we do need time for ourselves, and my crafting is something I do enjoy, so that's great.
How inspiring, absolutely fantastic. Henrietta, tell us more about those themes you were talking about earlier, the themes of the women at the wells. Tell us more about them.
Well, we looked at 4 stories in Scripture, but I think it was probably 2 of them that did end up inspiring people's artwork more than the others. So I'll just tell you a little about those. One was a story in John 4 of the Samaritan woman at the well. And, in this story, we see Jesus go into this ancient well that was formerly Jacob's well in the middle of the day, meeting a woman there and asking for a drink. And it ends up with Jesus saying, anyone who drinks the water I give will never thirst. And I think we just love this story, how then the woman put down her pot and rushed off to tell others and said, is this the Messiah? And we saw that Jesus' love isn't restricted by ethnic group, it isn't restricted by relationship history. He cares for people that are outcasts. And that also leads on to the other story about Hagar that we spent a whole session on, actually. And the interesting thing is, although it's a story, I think I've never heard it preached about in church, actually, that Christians little know about. For our Muslim friends who are part of the group, Hagar, or Hajra, as her name is in Arabic, is this esteemed woman of faith, this a role model, really. Now, we learn in Genesis 16 that she, while pregnant, is kind of outcast into the desert, and God meets with her there. And what most of us didn't know is she is actually the first person mentioned in the Bible to give God a name, which is El Roi, the God who sees me. So she is a special person, isn't she? And then for our Muslim friends, when they go on pilgrimage to Mecca, Zahira, one of the group, told us about her time going to pilgrimage when she was just a teenager, and it's been so influential in her life. And one of the practices they do is running between these 2 hills called Safa and Marwa, and they run between these hills because Hagar, apparently did this, according to their teaching, in order to find water. She was thirsting for water, but she was also thirsting for God, and God provided for her this spring of water called Zamzam. And quite a few of the ladies' artwork reflected this theme of water that she found, and even reflected this well that's still there to this day.
Wow, absolutely incredible to think of that synergy between the 2 faiths that you wouldn't have known unless you did this project. I mean, speaking about the project, what was meaningful, do you think, for the women who took part, and also for yourself?
I think for me it was simply the other women, actually. It was the group itself. I mean, we know that Jesus' greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God and to love your neighbour as yourself. And these were women who, that is their aim in life, I think. And although we're all on a journey and all in different stages on that path, I think we all wanted to be on that path. And that was refreshing in itself. And the fact there were people from different cultures, from Syria, from Albania, from Britain, South Africa, India, wow. Turkey, that is great. And although, we're living in multi-faith Britain, we enjoy this or experience this in our workplaces or our lives all the time. We don't necessarily in a religious context. So I found that very refreshing. And it reminded me, I suppose, of that verse in Revelation where it says that will be people from every nation, tribe, people and language standing before the throne. And so that this is like a little taste of heaven, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Anthea, turning to you, because you are one of those women we just asked now, about, we asked Henrietta, how did the women find it? Well, let's ask you, because you took part in it. Is there anything else you gained from the experience?
Oh, there was so much. I think, again, with the isolation part of COVID, I hadn't really spoken to anyone. So it was a great opportunity to share with others, um, especially about Hagar's story. I was able to share with the women that I'd struggled to have children. And I'm lucky, I'm so blessed now to have two children. But it wasn't until we lost six that we could then have one. And I felt, the story of Sarah trying to have a baby, couldn't have a baby. And then obviously Hagar was her surrogate, if you like. It just really allowed me to open up and share with others. And there was people that messaged me and said that they really appreciated me sharing that, because it's not something people talk about. It's still a taboo subject. And even in those times, children being born is such a blessing. But it's a gift that is not easy always to have. So that was something I especially was able to share my own experience. I was going to say, from another point of view, confidence again, when you're not talking with people, by seeing people and interacting with people, it's building up relationships, and that's been really good. So that really helped me.
And you obviously, sounds like you got a heck of a lot out of the project. I mean, is quilling something you're going to continue, and also the relationships that you forged during the project?
It's been really lovely since the project. We did meet the other week with some of the ladies from the group, and that was amazing. And we were able to go and see our art that was installed in the chapel at the university grounds in Cheltenham, and it was just wonderful to meet with people in person, because again, it was online, and you don't, but we felt like we knew each other,
Wow.
and that was really beautiful. So, and to see our work all together and be able to pray together again, fantastic. I just loved it. And it has, in my own personal family, given me confidence to talk to my sisters that are Muslim. I've got quite a few half siblings that I didn't know about until 15 years ago.
Wow.
So they are Muslim and I'm Christian, and it's been actually really nice to be able to talk openly about faith. So it's a much bigger picture from the little bit that you see that we did. So it's really helped me so much.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, this year's Cheltenham Christian Arts Festival, we've had these Inspires sessions and the Octopus sessions, and the whole idea is to get people to have a go at these different art forms in their expression of faith, etc. And it sounds like quilling is something that you're quite a dab hand at now, for want of a better phrase.
It's certainly something I won't pick up every week, but it's something I'm not particularly scared of anymore, which is great. So I will look to be doing that again in another form of project, and it'd be great if I can link it into my own. I do resin jewelry, and it'd be great if I could try and link it into that somehow. So watch this space.
Wow, fantastic! Watch this space, indeed. Thank you, Anthea. Thank you, indeed. And that's that must fill you with such joy, Henrietta, that your sessions has inspired such a reaction from one of the participants.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, and it's not just my sessions. There was also a lady called Georgina and Zahira and Edie and Rana, who all took a hand in leading different parts of it. What I haven't mentioned is Rana actually works. She researches water conservation around the world, and actually at the moment she's researching Christians and Muslims working together in the country of Jordan to conserve water. So although we only heard little bits, mostly from the WhatsApp chat actually, it was also, some people latched onto that, the water conservation. Others really appreciated the scriptural part. Others, were crafters, and that's what motivated them. So I think there were different things that motivated different ones of us. And for me, it was the people, as I've said.
it would be a bit remiss of me not to say that in this shot now we can see a little book behind you, can't we? And you have a book out of your artwork.
We do have a book of our artwork, Women at the Well, and inside is just lovely pictures of different people's artwork and little descriptions that they've written about what inspired them. And it's just really a keepsake. And if you want to buy a copy, you can. All the profits, which will be £1 from each book, are going to be donated to water conservation projects around the world. And you can find it by looking up my name on Amazon or on Waterstone's website and go in and collect your copy.
Marla, so a link of where you can get that book, that wonderful book, and I urge you to do so, will be in the description. So please check that out. You can click it and get it straight away. But let's now take a look at some of the amazing pieces created by this project. Henrietta, I know you've got some available. Let's talk us through the first piece we're going to look at.
Well, the first one was by a wonderful lady called Nafisa, and she called it Crying Earth, Wasted Earth. And I thought I'd read out the description that she wrote about it. I thought of Mother Earth crying as many of us, including myself, forget how blessed we are with water as our primary life source and how easily accessible it is to us. This made me think about the less fortunate that have to journey for miles by foot just to access water, no matter how unsanitary it is. A reminder that we are truly blessed and that we mustn't waste it.
Wonderful. Well, the next piece of art we're going to see from the project actually inspired a poem as well, I believe.
It did. Zahira did a piece which she called Blue Drop, and then she wrote this poem, which I thought just brought me joy anyway, joy and humour to read it. Big blue drop, life goes flip-flop, joy's coming non-stop, soaking up pain like a mop. Angel with every drop, rewards from an open shop, Allah's mercy non-stop, big blue drop.
So, Anthea, we saw your wonderful piece chosen by him earlier on in the programme, and we're going to see another piece that you produced during the project. Please talk us through it.
So I entitled it Living in His Living Water, and it goes back to the Samaritan woman at the well. And it just, we go to the well of Jesus's living water to be filled up. And that's what inspired me about this. So rather than do a well, which is what I intended to do, but with quilling, it's not always what you intend. So I changed it into a vase and tipped out the water, and the curls from the quilling just were very organic and very natural, and it just flowed into water. So I thought, okay, let's just go with this. But the one thing as a Christian that we always, use as a symbol is the little fish, that we are followers of Jesus. So I have actually put that into my piece. So when you are visiting the banner in any of the locations or you buy the book, have a look for that symbol in my piece. And I have put that on my description. So just to remind you that you are looking for a hidden Christian symbol in there as well.
Henrietta, turning to you, and the next piece we're going to see was inspired by a Bible verse, I understand.
It was, and I wanted to include this because actually quite a few of the women were inspired by verses that they did include. So this one was by Michaela, who I didn't know before she joined the project. And funnily enough, in the very last meeting, she happened to mention she actually worked for the water board in Gloucestershire,
Wow.
dealing with flooding responses and things. But I kind of wished I'd known that at the start. But here you go. She's got kind of different layers of texture in her piece. And here's the verse. Blessed is the woman whose delight is in the law of God. On it she meditates day and night. She is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yield its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever she does prospers.
Henrietta, it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey with you and Anthea looking at the artwork you produce. It's absolutely stunning, inspirational, and it's so fascinating to find out, you know, the scriptures, the poems, and the other pieces of art that it inspired as well. And we're now going to see even more. There's a lovely video that's been produced of the artwork. So would you like to introduce that for us?
Well, this video is very simple. It's a slideshow, really, of everyone's artwork, which is featured slowly in turn, just so we can really appreciate the different ways that people have used these strips of paper to make these amazing pieces at the end of the day.
Moiri kinang montang ola naman sunin na Ikan kangomoy le samanda Allah Silon kanakulay yakoto Ngebadu Naman solin na hala Naman solin na hala Naman solin na Katu emang kiwalati Menkakwantani kujaola Mo kurung disantino laife Fangwaramu tilolo la inyakoto Yemolo bele kon Melu yeku jengering oke Na 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 Barikaboni la kanu bambalona Tebeduna ila bunga kalale Besujulila ila bung senumata Katu itemuna hala Naman solina hala Naman solina hala Naman solina
Well, absolutely fantastic, Henrietta. I didn't know what quilling was until I've spoken to you in planning this broadcast. But it's opened my eyes. It's absolutely fantastic and beautiful music as well in that video.
Yeah, it was quite a choice to get the right piece of music. And I actually wrote to a Christian organisation called Arts Release. And they have a group of musicians who try and produce Indigenous music. So I thought if anyone can recommend a good piece of music, they can. So I wrote to Arts Release and they sent back to me about 6 suggestions. I then asked the others on the team, which do you like? Which appealed to you? And then we picked one from that. And yeah, I think it really, really adds to the multicultural flavour of this and also the real kind of heart responses from the women involved in the project.
Well, what an absolutely inspirational story and project. And if you would like to get involved, of course, the details are in the link in the description of how you can see the banner, how you can get the book. But for now, my great thanks to Henrietta and Anthea, and goodbye. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye.
Thank you.